working now. Let me see. Yes, we are live. So, hello everyone. Today we're here to talk about the Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I know is a topic everyone loves because it's the best film ever made. So, we're gonna be defending it from Filmento's take on it. And we're gonna be doing so here with the CertainVids as our guest.
Yes, hello there.
Yeah, he's we've been talking a lot on Twitter about Tasm Chu. We know that you like it a lot as well. So
yes, sir.
yeah, and we also have here we have Tin.
Hello.
And we also have Toes and Cole as a very special guest.
I actually hate you. I need to leave this call. My planet needs me.
My planet needs. Great. Oh yeah, and speaking of Toes and Cole, because I don't know if you guys watching this follow me on Twitter or if you watched the EDAR we were on like 2 weeks ago. Basically, I lost the hard drive that had a recording both of Mendo reaction to the Mendo season 2 finale and to the new Doctor Who episode. So yeah, that ECUM is not gonna come out anymore. I'm sorry, but there's not really anything I can do.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Thanks for that.
Have you guys joined the watch together?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So well, I think everyone here thinks Tasm Chu is good, except for like Jeb is on the fence, right? Jeb.
Answer, damn it.
Jeb. I'm sorry, Tozen. Okay, I guess he just.
Disabled man. Speak up.
I imagine his internet just went down now. That would be, perfect. Yeah, I guess he's just not answering. So yeah,
Yeah.
we all we really like the Tasm films. I can speak for me and Tin when I say that we watched them quite a bit for the past few months. And CertainVids as well. I've seen you tweet about the Tasm films a lot. You guys watched it yesterday, right?
Yeah, me and Tin watched it yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Jeb's internet.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tasm 2 is great.
Yeah. It's the last time I watched it was like hard to pick between Tasm 1 and 2. I still think they're two like really good. But
I think 2's probably better. But
yeah.
I do like 2 more, but which one's better?
I definitely like 2 more, but I think they're like both basically same level. In terms of,
I agree with that.
comedy. Oh, hey Jeb, you're back.
This fucking internet sometimes.
Finally, the prodigal son returns.
Yeah. So now you can finally answer the question. Jeb, you're like on the fence of Tasm 2 being good or not, right?
Yeah, 'cause I still haven't seen the full debate.
Yeah. Oh yeah, if people don't know context, me and Thought went on EFAP a while back to debate on Tasm 2. We lost the debate, but since then we came up with like defenses for the criticism. So me and Thoughts were thinking that the film was good, then after debate we thought it was bad, and then we got to think it was good again. So yeah. And
Basically, we're back where we started.
yeah, pretty much. So, okay, Jeb, are you in the watch together? Because you're just showing up white here.
Let me refresh. I'm definitely in it now.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, so Filmento made this video not so long ago. I remember that the day this video came out, like a bunch of people linked me and Thought and Jeb and Tin linked us this video because, well, it was like the timing for it was pretty coincidental. and we watched it and we thought it was really bad. And CV, you watched it recently, right? I think I saw you tweeting about it.
I watched like the first 5 minutes recently. I didn't go past that.
Oh, okay.
But,
So you're in for quite an experience today.
Yeah, I have no idea what the rest of the video has.
Yeah, this video is quite bad. So yeah, I think we're ready to get started by this point.
Alrighty.
I made a choice. This is my path.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the is that? What is that?
What?
Okay.
I'm sorry, what?
Okay. I think he was
I
pointing at the guy
think-
who was swinging on the wall, I think.
Yeah, I think there was like rumors that's like Venom when the movie was about to come out. So I don't think it's still been
Okay.
solved.
Yeah,
I don't- I don't think anybody knows what
time
it is.
I think it's just like something that slipped through editing because it's something so minor in the background. But sure.
Yeah,
surely if it was Venom, they'd try to make it a
yeah.
bit more-
Yeah, like in Spider-Man 3, they forced Venom into the film, and it was like basically the whole marketing was about Venom. So I don't understand why they wouldn't do the same thing for this film, but sure. Was it a camera? I think it was a camera, to be honest. Whatever. So let's...
Yeah, it's a,
Yeah, somebody says like a cameraman. I think it's probably that. Maybe just like a window washer or something. I don't know.
Well, a window washer was just casually running across the wall.
I don't know. I'm just coming up with things. I don't know what it is.
it's Spider-Man's mortal enemy, cameraman.
So let's see
Yes.
Filmento analyze the anatomy of this failure that is the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Back in 2014, the marketing campaign for The Amazing Spider-Man 2 successfully made it one of my most anticipated movies of all time. The trailers were some of the most fascinating I'd ever seen. To me, they were promising the greatest, most intense Spider-Man story to date. And once the movie then finally came out, I mean,
Yeah, that is what happened. It was the movie came out, it was the most
Yeah.
intense story. I don't care. Like, it's by far the most personal story that Spider-Man has had to deal with in any of the films. Except for maybe Into the Spider-Verse, just because of like, is like Miles dealing with his uncle and everything. But
Yeah, I was in the same boat. I think I was really hyped for the movie.
I was
The
as well.
marketing was good. I rewatched the marketing and I didn't really like it because it's like really misrepresentative of the movie. But
oh yeah,
I
no,
was hyped
the
at the time.
marketing is pretty shit when you actually watch the film. They make like Rhino be a bigger deal than he is in the
Right.
film itself, which is like a problem with the marketing. But people say, oh no, this makes the film bad for some reason.
Yeah, that's the part that irks me. But no, the marketing is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Now looking at it, 'cause the movie's way
In
better.
hindsight, yeah.
liked it quite a bit. What? Stupid. I liked the visuals, I liked the action, the music, I liked most of it.
That's my
Really,
favorite
the only
scene.
thing that the teenage me
Oh
did
yeah, by far. Like just visually how it looks and the music and everything, it's so awesome. Especially like
Thank
if you
you.
actually understand how like narratively the story getting there, it like makes sense. So it's just like wow, like it's a great payoff.
didn't like
Yeah,
was
no.
the fact
The
the final
entire movie
product
looks
was a
great.
bit of a letdown from the trailers. A lot of that promised stuff had either been misrepresented or just downright not included at all.
Oscorp. Get you under surveillance. What about Peter?
Yeah, I mean, but you can just say that that's a concept they didn't do in the film, therefore the film is worse than the trailer. When like, why the fuck would they keep Peter under surveillance within the story of The Amazing Spider-Man 2? Like, where do we add that? I
think
don't
there's like
understand.
a lot of stuff that was just made for the trailers. I'm pretty sure. So it's like, I don't know
interesting.
where you would put that in the movie.
Okay, yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's the case.
I mean, I
It
know
just
there were
makes,
a
like,
lot
the
of
trailers look cooler.
cut scenes, but even then, I still think
Right.
the final cut was like the best choice they could have had. Because I've seen some of the deleted scenes, and except for the scene where Peter talks to his father by the end, everything I'm like, yeah, no, this is the best the film could be. Even though like it wouldn't really make sense that his father would show up at the end, but you know.
Yeah, I mean,
I would probably include like the one where Harry escapes from Oscorp. I thought that was a
I
cool
mean,
scene.
yeah.
But the rest, yeah, I agree.
The thing is just that that scene is like, that scene made the film R-rated, so they had to cut it. But
Right.
that
yeah,
would
for
be
that-
cool to see.
for Harry's arc in this film, that scene we see wouldn't make much sense unless he's trying to use that to get the blood, which is a weird tactic.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, the thing is, me and Thought watched the film with the writer's commentary, and it's like really fascinating how they talk about why they cut some scenes and like what was on the the writer's room and what didn't end up in the film. It's like, oh no, we cut that because this felt like it was adding too much to the film. Oh no, this didn't feel necessary. This didn't really make sense with that aspect, even though it was like a good scene on its own. So it's like they actually put a lot of care into how they would do that, and I think like Sony on their side they fucked it up, but the people making the film they actually did like a really good job in terms of what you include or not in the film.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not everyone has a happy ending.
Oscorp was going to use my research for.
We have plans.
What? No, that
That was in
wasn't.
the post-credit
wasn't-
scene.
That wasn't the film.
Wasn't that in the movie?
That wasn't the film.
That
That wasn't the
Yeah, that was
post-credit
in-
scene. That was the last scene in the film. There is no post-credit scene. It's literally the last scene in the film. Not the last. The second to last. The gentleman goes to talk to Harry. Harry says everything you need is in Oscorp. And then he goes to Oscorp and we see everything. And he stops at the Rhino suit. Just set up the Alexei showing up in the final scene. So that was in the film.
Yeah.
And if he's talking about what Richard is saying, but that was also in the film. That was the video that Peter saw in the train. Did he miss it? I don't understand.
Yeah, no, isn't that like what everybody complains about? That the fact that they threw that in there as like a tease?
Yeah, because they
Yeah,
say that the Sinister Six was shoehorned into the film, which is of course not true.
Yeah, that
it's-
annoys me because
It's just
it was in TASM 1, the gentleman first appearance, and if you know comics, you know the gentleman forms the Sinister Six, so you knew that was coming.
Hmm.
Parker.
I mean, to this day, I'm still obsessing over the question of what is this black thing swinging down the skyscraper. If you know, or if there's someone from Sony here, please let me know, please. All that being said though, I saw this film again recently and now I'm mostly just confused as to what the I was thinking at the time, because I do now agree with the general consensus that it's a bit of an excruciating mess. But
Good, awesome. There you go. That's like the exact
I would very
opposite
much
experience to
disagree.
us, right? Because like
yeah.
we all watched the last time I watched this film was probably like 2016 because I was so excited for Civil War that I was literally rewatching every Marvel film that had ever come out. So like I rewatched even Fantastic and whatever just because I wanted to get to Civil War. And like that was the last time I watched TASM 2 and I'm like, yeah, no, this film is bad, but I enjoy it. And then I watched it last year and it's like, oh no, this is one of my favorite films now. And I think Tin and Jeb was also that Tin you watched with me the first time I rewatched last year, yeah. So it's like it's the exact opposite experience that I find really funny. But let's see.
I think
how
I
he's
just owe it to Thought. I just owe it to Thought, to be honest. He kind of re-inspired me to go back, revisit him.
I mean, yeah, definitely. The thing is, Thought was saying like, oh yeah, no, this film. He always said that he loved it, and I always made fun of him, being like, well, he probably thinks the film is bad, but also likes it. And then when I watched with him, I'm like, no, these films are actually really good. So yeah, but let's see how Filmento is gonna qualify his statements.
the interesting thing is, the reason why I told you this teenage me backstory is that once I started looking
Thought
for
is
the
in
main
chat.
core source behind this movie's biggest issues,
really?
it turned out to come down to that same one
Oh,
thing
nice.
I disliked years ago, the missing trailer stuff. Not the notion that this film
What? Really?
So, what? So, you're criticizing a film based on marketing failure rather than a rating failure.
I mean, I can understand not liking because the trailer lied to you because, well, that's if the trailer lies to you, it's fair to be angry at it. So that's fair enough. But I find it really strange. He says this, and the name of the video is "How Excess Destroys Movies." How does it have access, even though it cuts stuff that was in the trailers?
I don't know.
Like, this is really strange. I don't get it.
Yeah, I know where he's going because I've seen a little bit of it, but I'll just wait for him to get to it himself.
Yeah.
Has too little. Instead, the opposite notion that it has way too much. See, if you break this movie down to its subplots and story elements, you'll find that there's quite a bit of stuff in
Wait. Okay, so wait,
Okay,
what?
this is what I responded to.
Yeah, I saw
on
your tweet
Twitter.
about
I
it.
don't-
Oh no, this is so stupid. Okay, so you have
I don't think
the
some
first
of these
thing.
are storylines.
Yeah, the first image on top left is like the security going after Gwen, because she was searching about Max. So it's like this ties into the
Right.
Max subplot and the Oscorp subplot with Harry. So this is like not a subplot on
Yeah.
its own. It's just part of that subplot. Felicia is also just something that happens with Harry. And like if you say that she was just being set up because she's Felicia Hardy, and that's like, oh, they're setting up Black Cat. The writers literally said that they had this character written and they hadn't named her Felicia, but then the studio exec said, oh, name her Felicia. And the writers said in the writer's commentary, that was either a nod to the comics or setting up something that could potentially happen later. So either way, this is not like setting up this entire character of Black Cat. This is like a character that happens to be named Felicia. And like,
Right.
then we have this picture. It's like, oh yeah, Peter is stopping the truck robbery in the first scene. This isn't a subplot. This is an action scene in the beginning of the film.
I know where he's gonna. I know what he's gonna talk about. I don't know if I should say it now, but I know where he's gonna go with that one, and I heavily disagree with that one too. So
You know what's
gosh,
you know
here we
what's
go.
funny? He said that the gentleman scene wasn't in the film. Then he uses the gentleman scene for being a major subplot in the film.
Oh yeah, genius.
yeah, I didn't realize that.
But-
But even then, that's an Easter egg.
Yep.
That's just an Easter egg. And then Aunt May at the hospital. There's like 2 scenes of that.
And it's
and it's like a
and it-
callback to when she was.
It's not like a
talking earlier
subplot
on.
either. It's like, well, she works at a hospital.
Yeah.
You need to, if you're gonna show that the power went out, and you want to like show the consequences of it, you show normal people. So you show Aunt May at the hospital, and you show the people in the planes, because hospital and airplanes are gonna be the 2 things mostly affected by a power outage. So I really don't see the issue with having these.
Those two scenes, like Aunt May one has like a little bit of setup, but the plane scene has no setup and no conclusion. It's just there on the 3rd act, and that's all it exists for. And it's just there to show like how it's affecting the people of New York and stuff like that. So yeah, I wouldn't consider that a subplot.
Yeah, and then Richard Parker is like, well, he's tied into the Oscorp subplot and into Peter's character arc. Like, this is not like a mess of subplots and everything. There's like the main plot with the that I'd say is with Harry and Peter and Gwen, and then you have Max as the subplot and how Harry uses Electro to get into the special projects. So it's like, it isn't really a mess structurally. I think people just misunderstand the film. They think it has way too much, but they don't see how it's all connected for some reason.
Yeah,
I'd love to see
it's
him
like
release the
the
subplot of
first-
Civil War.
The first 3 he listed, I would agree with. I'd even be willing to count Richard, but the rest I don't count.
Yeah. And I mean,
I'd
the
count-
Richard thing was also set up in the first film, so even then, it's like, oh, are you just gonna not have the payoff for this for the story?
yeah.
It's like, it's really stupid.
It's just, you just leave Richard Parker out of it. You know, we don't need conclusion for that whatsoever. It's just not, just it doesn't belong in the film. So you know.
Mhm.
in here. Fact that a lot of it had to be cut. But when I say cut, I don't mean cut as in take some of it out completely and focus fully on the rest, like is the reasonable thing to do. What I mean is that the studio decided to keep in all this excess of material by just trimming all of it down. And
That's not true. That's like
Yeah,
literally not true. Me and Thought watched with the audio commentary. I just mentioned earlier how they talked about what scenes should cut and what scenes should keep and what scenes should not keep, and it's like they didn't do that. The things they cut out was because they didn't think it would fit within the film, and like a lot of stuff they kept in the film is like, no, Mark Webb wanted this, so it's like this isn't studio interference either. I don't understand what he's saying.
I don't understand how you cut down the plane subplot. Like, how does that work?
I got no clue.
Or the on May thing. that's just a callback. I don't know how that works.
I got no clue what he means by this. Let's hope he qualifies at least.
That's the main problem with this movie. That's the very source of the mess that it became. That's what we're setting out to look more into here today. But to avoid excess myself, I'm gonna be highlighting this problem by focusing on the 5 most central main subplots.
The 5 most. They showed the truck scene from the beginning as if that's like one of the most important subplots. What the fuck? That's, oh my god, are you retarded, dude? What? Oh god.
Conspiracy mystery of Peter's parents, Peter's relationship with Gwen, Peter's life as Spider-Man,
Oh, he means that as Peter's life as Spider. Well, you have a lot better screenshots used than the truck scene at the beginning. I gotta be honest, but whatever. At least now I understand what you mean.
Just have him web slicking.
Yeah.
Or just hanging out with the little kid.
Yep, that would have been the best one probably.
Max Dillon's path to Electro. Let's take a closer look at these trimmed down subplots and pinpoint the harmful effects of that trimming that they suffer from in terms of
is he gonna provide any proof that they trimmed down from like studio interference or whatever? Because like from everything we've seen, like Mark Webb has even said that TASM 2 turned out the way he wanted it to be. And the writers say that a lot of stuff was kept in the film because of Mark Webb, and Mark Webb, he included some stuff afterwards, like while they were filming. So it's like, this isn't the studio mess you're saying it is, unless you have proof otherwise, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean,
beginning.
What confuses me as well, because he's got Spider-Man as one of the subplots, but the issue is I wouldn't call that a subplot because
That's Peter's
it goes in with, it goes in with everything else.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a
And
driving
it's
force of the film, him as Peter and him as Spider-Man.
And that's like apparent in every Spider-Man movie. So it's like, is every Spider-Man movie have that as a subplot?
Yeah.
I mean, if he says this, then I'd say Spider-Man 2 is much more of a mess. I mean, it's not well written, but I'm saying like structurally, Spider-Man 2 is really a mess with all the subplots because it's dealing with Doc Ock and then Harry wanting to kill Spider-Man, and then you have MJ not wanting to be with Peter, and then you have the Peter not being able to like make ends meet, and then you have Aunt May and her not being able to make ends meet, and then you have to deal with how Peter caused Uncle Ben's death. Like that's a lot more stuff they juggle in Spider-Man 2 than the Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I'm fairly certain Filmento thinks Spider-Man 2 is like masterpiece because, well, most people do for some reason.
Of course he does.
In the middle as the end to know what to avoid in the future. Here's what happens when your film just has too much. The excess problem at the beginning is that due to the amount of plot lines you're gonna be starting, there's so little time to spend on each one that they can very easily become way too conveniently random. A great example of this is the character of Max. The way we meet Max is that he's bumbling down the sidewalk with a bunch of blueprints, which by the way we'll never see ever again.
Dude, oh my god. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna lose my cool, but what the fuck? Okay, did he not understand the point of those blueprints? He says when he gets to Oscar, I've seen the blueprints, and I think he says I submitted a lot of I've seen a lot of the designs. I submitted a lot of designs, and I've seen the blueprints, and like those designs are mine. So like the grid is basically his, and these blueprints are like the designs that he had for the grid, and they just used it in Oscorp without like doing anything for Max. They just took it from him. not only that, but it's also the way that Peter recognizes him when he becomes Electro in the Times Square scene. So he does come back in the story. So what is he saying?
And if he's referred to the physical objects themselves, no shit, he had to give them in.
Yeah, that's how blueprints work. What?
See, we had to trim down all these subplots when really we needed 10 more minutes on these blueprints.
Yes. Well, I want the blueprints
That'd be more
cut.
access. There's some.
Let's let him continue.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Again, and just so happens that
Yeah, I'd say you could argue it's contrived. I'd argue it's like the inciting incident, where it's like Peter is this happens, which puts Max in danger. Because he's put in danger, Peter saves him. Peter saving him makes him obsess over Peter because he's like the only person who ever noticed him, which then causes him to like become Electro and everything. So it's like this is what kickstarts the plot, I'd say. But you could argue it's contrived. I don't really care. Like for me, it's not an issue.
Well,
but yeah.
Well, to add something to that, in the contrivance to help it, at least for Max's case, it makes sense he's there, because if you notice in the background, it says Oscorp.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, didn't Rhino steal the truck with the plutonium from Oscar? So it's like, well, he would be near this place, so it makes sense.
And Peter would go to him because we know that's how his spider sense works. He like senses danger around him.
Yeah.
So he would. So if you're dropping your blueprints and you're going into the streets, that's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, the car is just flying towards him at that point, a taxi. So yeah.
So yeah, you would Peter would definitely go save him because he can. Rhino is kind of out of control, so he can't really do anything there.
Yeah.
Heads up, watch out! Woo! Okay, there you go. You okay? You alright?
Just Spider-Man.
Okay, I'm just gonna pause because of copyright, but I think we get the point. You can just cut the clip here, dude. Like, I don't know why he's keeping the clip so long here, but sure.
yeah, Max accidentally gets in the way of a nearby car chase and is consequently saved by Spider-Man, entirely out of random. But to be fair, it is just a one-time introduction thing, so totally acceptable. Well, the next time we see Max, turns out that he isn't just any blueprint guy after all, but instead the leader of the creepy Spider-Man fanboy club.
No, you retard. He became obsessed with Spider-Man after. Like, did you not hear when not only the conversation, but when they're having the interviews on radio, Max is one of the people who calls. He's like, "Hello, my name is Max," and I think the people really misunderstand Spider-Man. He's trying to only help people, and he saved me once. Like, we became best friends since then. That's what he says, but you just miss it. Like, why? How the fuck can you make a video about this film when you miss events in it? Like, this is so stupid.
Yeah, like I can understand maybe thinking he was always like that, but I don't think that's what they were going for. I think it's pretty clear that he became obsessed. Because if you're somebody who's clearly a little unstable like Max, or that you just need it, like you've been ignored your entire life, it makes sense that you would kind of become a little obsessed by the one person who noticed you. So
yeah, it's I find it baffling. Like, do you not redraft? Because like, this is a big channel. How many subs does he have? Almost 500,000 subs. And it's like, oh, you just didn't redraft. You didn't bother to check if Max was obsessed with Spider-Man before or after. Because it's like, that's a common misconception. A lot of people think he's always been obsessed and Peter just happened to save him. When it's like, no, he saved him, then he became obsessed. Now, what you could argue is contrived is, oh, Peter just happened to save someone with like mental health issues and he just happens to like be treated as a nobody, which, sure, I guess. But then again, like I said, inciting incident. But the way he's going at it is just missing what the film established. So this is just dumb.
As far as the redrafting thing goes, it's a little hypothetical on my end, but when I was watching it, I do think it's possible that he maybe just kind of formed this conclusion and just wanted to run with it. So he was kind of just, pulling evidence and then trying to just reach that conclusion, if you know what I mean.
The thing is, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is such an easy topic to talk about online because people already hate it, so you can just say anything, and people haven't watched the film in like 6 years, so people don't care if you're accurate or not. As long as you're like, oh yeah, Max was such a bad character, like his tooth gap, it's fixed when he gets electrocuted by the EOS. How awful that is. But it's like, so people don't need to bother to be accurate, but it irks me because, like, I fucking hate video essays. Like, almost all video essayists I hate because of how they do this. They just ignore context and everything. They just want to support their conclusion, so they ignore evidence, and it's just so dumb.
Yeah, I have no idea what he did, but like it's clear that there is evidence to the contrary of what he's saying.
Yeah.
Again, seems to come quite out of nowhere, but okay. Well, then it
Seems to come right out of nowhere if you missed the scene where he's like, oh no, calling the radio and saying, oh no, Spider-Man and I kind of became best friends since he saved me, but whatever. I hate this.
No setup, no cause and effect. It just happens.
Yeah, just out of nowhere.
Of course.
turns out that Max works at Oscorp that plays a big part in the overall story.
Yeah, he was walking out of Oscorp with his blueprints, if you paid attention to the film.
He has an Oscorp name tag.
Oh yeah, that's not true.
Which has been established solely by the fact that he had an Oscorp badge.
Well, yeah, it was established, so it doesn't come out of nowhere. What's the problem?
It's not. This is being framed in a weird way. It's not a random person who happens to work for Oscorp. It's an Oscorp employee who gets saved by Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I don't know if that made sense.
Yep.
But
it's like, oh, they're walking near the vicinity of Oscorp because, well, Rhino just stole something from Oscorp, so it makes sense that they would be near there. And then, like, oh, close to there, there's one person walking out of Oscorp, and he's carrying blueprints. Spider-Man saves him, and that starts the plot. It's like, oh, that's how it happens, cause and effect. And a great profile picture, Jeb.
like,
Thank you.
like according to this, Peter's best friend in Spider-Man 1 just happens to be Norman Osborn's son, instead of Norman Osborn's son being Peter's friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. It's a like, oh, he just happens to be friends with Harry. I'm like, oh, this isn't like. I can understand it. Like, if you happen to know someone, like, that's not that big of a contrivance. Like, people make it a bigger deal than it is, and it's like, oh, how dare he know someone who is like now the owner of Oscorp? This is so contrived. But it's like, no, he just happens to know that guy, and then he becomes the villain. And how he becomes the villain is like made by cause and effect, so it's not contrived, but sure.
Convenient once again, but alright. Well then, before we even get to see Max do anything as an employee of Oscorp, he goes to fix this cable as his first...
Why would we need to see him do anything as an employee for Oscorp? And actually we do see, because he walks in and he talks to the EOs and like, oh, how are you guys? Oh, I need, like, doesn't he say like, oh, I need to feed you guys or something like that? Like, he talks to the EOs, so it shows that he works with the EOs. So we do see something,
like, he's familiar
and he also,
with
if
the
he's
company.
going to fix this, doesn't it show that he's doing something? And he also says that they appropriated his grid designs, so he's shown to do two things for Oscorp. So I don't understand.
I just don't understand why we need to see anything. Like,
Yeah.
we know he's an Oscorp employee, and we have
He's an electrical engineer that works for Oscorp. Oscorp is working on a grid that is gonna power the entirety of New York. So them having one person who is an electric engineer working for them, like, oh, this is contrived. No, it's not. It's like the biggest thing going on in New York at this moment. So again,
Right.
I don't see
Yeah,
the issue, and I don't see why they should have shown him do anything for Oscorp. Like, what is that gonna do anything for the film? Like, he says I also don't understand how he says, like, this is excess, and then he's just like, oh no, they should have shown him doing something that doesn't affect the plot at all. Good job.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, if this is being trimmed down, doesn't adding more make it more excessive?
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah,
Because it's something that's unnecessary.
Thought said in chat, hey guys, I got your medicine, don't worry. Yeah, that's what he said to the EOS. So yeah, it's clear that he works with the EOS, works with the electro engineering in this place. So it's like, I don't know why we need more, but sure, Filmento, whatever you say.
Back to work, and then falls into this vat of eels we didn't know existed, which turns him into...
What do you mean we didn't know existed?
Wait, what?
Well, literally saw him for like 5 minutes before. He talked to the fucking eels. Out of nowhere, he for one says, "Hey guys, here's your medicine."
It's Schrodinger's
Talking to a
eels.
wall or something?
It's Schrodinger's eels, that's what he's doing.
Schrodinger's eels. We didn't know existed. Wait, does he mean that they should have been set up before? Like, I don't, in the beginning of the film? Because that's stupid. And if he's just saying they didn't have a scene where they show the eels, they do show, because he walks into this room, it's like, oh, hey guys, I got your medicine. So, what?
I don't get this. I just don't.
I'm so confused.
I just have nothing to say to this.
Yeah, this is the most stupid thing. And it's like, fair enough if you want to criticize Tazim Chu, if you're trying to make points for it, sure, fair enough. But if you just miss stuff like this, like, how are you just gonna say, oh yeah, no, this film is bad because we didn't know the EOS existed before, even though we did. It's like, please try harder.
I want to see an origin story for the eels. Let's see how they evolve.
They were gonna make an EOS spin-off.
Eels the movie.
Electro. What I'm trying to get across is that Max seems less like a real three-dimensional person and more like a personless sum total of all these convenient...
Okay, so I wouldn't really call him three-dimensional. Like, he really isn't the villain that gets the development, it's Harry. But I'd also argue that Max is a pretty interesting character to work with. Without, like, he's seen as a nobody and then he gets the power to do something about it. And it's like, the way he's gonna do it is like, I'm gonna take the power away so nobody can see, and then I'm gonna humiliate and kill Spider-Man, because then they're gonna have nobody to protect them, because Spider-Man took everything from me. So it's like, well, this is actually an interesting character to work with, but he isn't just the work of all these contrivances, because like most of these aren't even contrived. So
the only one that really has a that has an argument to be made is the introduction, and even that's like, even he said that that's acceptable.
Yeah, it seems that he he arrived at this conclusion without supporting evidence. So it really seems like what you said, that he's just he had this conclusion and he was just getting the evidence he wanted, cherry picking it so that he could get to it, because it's like, this isn't the conclusion you'd get if you actually paid attention to the film.
Occurrence to occur in order for the plot to function. It's not like any of this stuff is organically built and connected. It's not like...
It is, though.
What?
I
don't understand.
I need qualifiers, dude. Like, I understand you're a video essayist, so it's like, your videos can't be longer than 20 minutes. But you can qualify your statements. If you think you just want to focus on the little things, you can just not focus on the other stuff and focus on this one. If you think this is a major point, because I need qualifiers. You can just say, oh, it's not built like that, because
And how is it not connected? I would say it's connected.
It's definitely connected. He saves Max. Max happens to work at Oscorp as an electrical engineer. He goes to to fix something in that room. Then he falls into the eels, and then he becomes Max. And then because of that, and he's obsessed with Peter. So then we have the Times Square scene. But because of the cops acting rashly, Max gets angry at Peter. So he creates a plan to take the power away from the city. So then Harry goes to him to get help from him. So it's like, it's all interconnected. Like the entire film is all leading up to Gwen's death, and how they get to it is all like, oh no, this happened because of this, which happened because of that. So it's like, I don't see how it's not connected.
That's cause and effect.
Yeah.
That's cause and effect. And I would say it's like the film kind of shows it in a reverse way, because like, and this is not a bad thing. It's just like Max is an Oscorp employee, and he's familiar with like the electric grid. He did all that stuff, and he obviously is familiar with the eels and stuff. This is all stuff that has taken place before the movie has started. Mm-hmm. The one thing that's like a little bit of a strike of luck is Spider-Man saving him, which kind of pushes him over the edge into like obsession. So it's like you see Spider-Man saving him first and then learn about him, but really everything about him has already been there, and it's really just the Spider-Man thing that kind of just happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Becomes a fanatic because he gets saved by him. He just happens to be one.
Oh, good job. You continue to miss the stuff in the film. Like, he's making it sound more contrived because he didn't pay attention to the film. I hate this.
Look, I think Max becoming a fanatic was the intention, but all of that transformation got cut out for time.
It's not like
wasn't. Pay attention to the film.
You see why he becomes a fanatic, so I don't understand how it got cut out.
Yeah.
I hate this so much. You guys have no idea.
like he's involved with the Oscorp plutonium that gets stolen in the beginning to establish that he works at Oscorp.
But it's established that he works at Oscorp with the name tag. How would that change? It's literally the same thing. Like, literally,
Okay,
what is
so
the
I'm
difference?
Confused. So are we now fixing the movie? Or
I
like,
think that's what he's saying.
now?
He's saying, oh, if it showed that he was working on the plutonium stuff, which then connected to the truck scene, it would explain that he works at Oscorp.
Okay.
It was established that, even though it is established, and he even said that it is, but apparently a name
Okay.
tag isn't enough.
Here's the problem. Isn't Max an electrical engineer? I don't know what
Yep.
he would be doing
With
involved
plutonium.
in plutonium.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The thing is, the way the film does it makes sense. He's trying to fix it in like quotation marks, but it's not. It's not fixing it. You're making the film worse because for some reason you think a name tag isn't a good way to establish that a character works at Oscorp. What is the problem that a name tag does it? This is so dumb.
He just happens to work there. It's not like he's working on the eels at Oscorp before they turn him into Electro to justify that it happens, but instead it just is what happens. And that's because there's simply no time for any of the eels at Oscorp before they turn with the Oscorp plutonium that gets stolen in the beginning to establish that he works at Oscorp. He just happens to work
Justify getting saved. I'm sorry. He was walking out of Oscorp, you retard.
there. It's not like he's working on the eels at Oscorp before they turn him into Electro to just
He literally says that he's got
But
their
is,
medicine.
though.
He is working on the EOs. Pay attention to the film, for the love of God. Fucking hell. I hate this. Pay attention to the film.
Deep breaths, Marcus. Deep breaths.
This is so bad, dude.
justify that it happens, but instead it just is what happens. And that's because there's simply no time for any of
Yeah, apparently there's not enough time for you to qualify your statement because you didn't watch the film, so you don't have any proof for anything that you're saying, you fucking moronic retard. Fucking hell, this is so bad. I am kind of angry. I don't know if you guys noticed.
Oh, are you?
I have.
Happy birthday.
Marcus swore. Oh, I'm sorry, Car.
that extra stuff.
I'm
because the
telling
opening
Filmento.
7 minutes, for example, was spent entirely on Peter's parents' conspiracy subplot that has nothing to do with Max. I mean, even with
What?
Yeah, but it has everything to do
Well,
with fucking Peter.
It has everything to do with Peter and Harry. It literally explains why the blood worked on Peter and wouldn't work on Harry. Like, I just what the fuck? Can he?
Okay. I don't understand. I've heard a lot of people say the opening scene is not necessary, but doesn't that mean that there's now no reason? Like, it makes no sense why Richard's video is in Roosevelt or in that train station, because like that's what that scene establishes.
I just I'm just baffled that he's saying like, oh, it has nothing to do with the Max subplot. But it's like, well, yeah, like Max has nothing. Max isn't the main villain in the film. Like the plot of the film isn't centered around Max. Like Max is a means to get you for Harry to get you to the spider venom.
This is seeming to me this specific part like, okay, this is what happens in the movie, but that's not good. That's essentially what I'm getting.
Yeah, it's just
this is what okay, no, this part is bad because it's what happens in the movie.
mm-hmm.
That's kind of how it's seeming to me. Like this part has nothing to do with Max, but that's bad. That's kind of what I'm sensing here.
Yeah, like not everything in a plot needs to be 100% connected. Like you can have subplots in your film that don't have everything to do with each other because like they support the main plot. So like Max is a subplot, he's not the main plot, but apparently he doesn't understand that. And I'm sorry to cut you off, Jeb.
I was going to say, the funny thing is, he's going, oh, they're all trimmed down, so we need more. Then he's going, oh, this is bad because it's not connected to Max. I'm like, what? I don't understand. It hurts.
Like it seems his thesis and has nothing to do with the supporting evidence in quotation marks, but like I don't really understand what he's trying to say with this video as like a whole. But his individual points have been retarded as well, so that's fun.
With this heavily drawn version, it still takes an hour for us to get to the first Electro showdown. Thing is, it just comes with the cast that now there's no real sense as to what Max is doing or why.
What is his ultimate external objective? He has no objective. He just basically.
Not right now. He's just confused.
Yeah, he's just a battery at this point. He's going after energy. They're going after electricity to power him up. That's like he's just instinctual at this point. He even says when Peter says, "I know you're scared. I know you don't want to be here," and he says, "I got so much power, so much anger," and and I don't know what to do.
The funny thing is, this scene is literally establishing his objective. That's what this scene is for.
Yeah, like his objective is established when he's in Ravencroft, right? Where he says, "I'm gonna take the power away, and I'm gonna kill Spider-Man as well.
I'm gonna turn off the light." Yeah,
I'm gonna turn off the
light.
It's like, oh, you can't stop me because I'm a force of nature and whatever. So it's like that's when he has an objective, because at this point he doesn't have an objective. He's not a villain. He only becomes a villain when his idol, his like the only person who ever showed to care about him,
in his eyes turns on him.
Yeah, in his eyes turns on him. So it's like, which is even explained by the score, which people don't like because they're stupid, but whatever.
I like the score. The score's nice.
Yeah.
It's like it's a neat little trick, like just expressing his internal thoughts through that.
Yeah, I also really like it, but apparently people
just
hate it. So what can you do?
It just makes for like a weird listening experience, like on its own, because it just pertains to nothing. But in the movie, it works.
Yeah.
Why he suddenly starts hearing voices in his head, or why he
suddenly he doesn't. Again, you're missing the film. He's listening to these voices. There was like, I think it was like the third time I watched the film, like after like last year, and I was like watching it, and I heard, I can hear whispering when he's walking in Oscorp. So it's like you can hear the voices in his head from the beginning, from like ever since we meet Max. Every time we see Max, we hear the whispering. So now we just hear the voices clearer, but people say it comes out of nowhere, but it doesn't. I
And if you want to like prove that, just look up the Electro Suite or whatever, and listen to it with like full volume, and you can hear like whispers.
Yep.
Just don't listen to it in the film. Listen to the actual soundtrack,
Mhm.
and you can hear what's going on.
Yeah, I mean,
I
even
can't.
if you just go, sorry, Jeff. Even if you just go to the film, just him walking in Oscorp, that's like the moment where it's clearer that he hears whispering. So it's like, oh, this doesn't come out of nowhere, but people say it does because they can't pay attention to the film, which is awesome.
Goes from the biggest Man fan to the biggest Spider-Man hater. The cause that our main villain now comes off
He's
as
not the main villain. He is not the main villain. Harry is. Can you?
See, they're taking their time to get to Harry,
Mhm.
but that goes against the claim that this is like rushed and excessive. So
Yeah.
we can't.
Yeah,
mention
the
that.
thing is, people say that this film is rushed, but it also doesn't have enough fight scenes because we focus so much on character. But it also says that we don't have enough character in the film, so it's like people don't know how to make up their minds about it. But like, we're focusing on Max at this point, but Max stays in prison for like most of the film. Harry's character is built up to the point where it's like, oh, now he's kicked out of Oscorp. He needs Max, so that's how you pay off Max's character while also having Harry as the villain as the main villain. So it's like really well done. Like, it's just because Harry isn't the Green Goblin throughout the entirety of the film doesn't mean he's not the villain. Like, this is just a really stupid notion that people have.
And like earlier, we were talking about how, or in this video, he said like, there's no time to really do anything. But I think just a while ago, he said like, it takes an hour to get to Electro. So isn't that them taking their time? That means there is time. There is room to breathe.
It's just a nonsensical caricature. But hey, at least
Why is it nonsensical? Like, if he said it's a caricature, sure. Like, whatever, I don't care. If you think it's caricature, it's... Or, I don't know what the word is, whatever. But why is it nonsensical? Like, he's arrived at this conclusion without any evidence. He just says it's nonsense. But if it's nonsense, something needed to have been... to contradict this. But nothing contradicts this. He didn't say anything that contradicts this. Filmento is a nonsensical character. I agree, Nub.
we're here, right? We have this cool music and action. It's still pretty good, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Reality. What?
Joking aside, if your villain's main want is to be noticed by others, then maybe early on you should show scenes of him actually trying to get people to notice and like him, instead of...
What? Fucking hell, I just screamed. I'm sorry to everyone listening. But what? He literally... No. Dude, this is like IFAP bingo. Video essay bingo. This scene, this clip he's showing. This exact clip from the film. It's him wanting to be noticed. He's literally... calling attention to himself because it's like, oh yeah, I have this birthday party that my friends are throwing for me, and but you can't come because like the guest list is already closed, but there's gonna be a lot of celebrities and everything. So it's like, oh, he is trying to make him seem to make himself seem more important in Gwen's eyes. Isn't that interesting? Wow, almost as if the clip you're showing in the fucking video contradicts what you're fucking saying, you moronic, stupid retard. So yeah, I think this is a bad point overall.
I mean, also as well, he says to the worker that he designed it as if to get noticed and not to do the ILFs thing as well. And then he calls the radio station to go on about how he runs his fan club and how he got saved by Spider-Man, as if he's special. There's like 3 moments before he becomes Electro.
Yep. It's so clear that that's what he wants. He says, like the first thing he says to Peter is like, I'm a nobody. Not to Spider-Man. He says like, why'd you save him? I'm a nobody. And then Peter says, oh no, you're not a nobody, you're somebody. And it's like, oh, this has been established since the first second we've seen this character. How interesting. But no, whatever.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot that.
He wrote the script going from memory. Yep, probably. This is so bad.
actually trying to get people to notice and like him, instead of just a couple quick moments of him being avoidant and resentful of everyone around him.
Excuse me.
No, but
But well, hang on. One was that moment was him what he wanted to do but didn't, and this moment he's getting bumped into trying to rush in by people being rude to him.
This is like, this is just physically showing how he's getting pushed around by people, literally.
Even when he goes into Oscorp, the revolving door, the door hits him because someone is like just pushes it strongly and it hits him and he's like, ow, and the guy says nothing, he doesn't apologize or anything, again showing that he's a nobody. Like, some people would say this is like caricaturist, which sure, like it kind of reminds me of Joker in a way, where it's like, well, this character is just being pushed around, but like it all makes sense, and it's just, oh, it's unfortunate that it happens to this one person this many times, but it's like it makes sense. It doesn't it doesn't seem like, oh yeah, no, this would never happen in real life, because it does. So I really don't understand why he's saying, oh yeah, no, he's never shown to not want to be a nobody. Like, this is just missing the film. Oh, there.
Everybody else is leaving. Why do I have to stay?
Okay, good.
Birthday parties, but was love to invite.
Oh, so you're showing the scene. You're showing the fucking scene. I screamed at you for this, Filmento. You shouldn't have done this. You should have just ignored it. It would have been better for you. You.
Marcus, calm down. Breathe.
I am not happy, Tin. I want to die.
Just calm down. You can kill yourself later. Just finish the video.
I also love one of his references is Max asking a perfectly reasonable question, why him specifically?
Yep.
Like he's finished work and he's being told to do this.
I'm baffled that he says, oh no, you should have had scenes where it establishes that he wants to be seen. That's like him trying to make himself not to be a nobody in someone's eyes, and he's showing this scene. It's like, dude, what are you saying? What do you want from the film? Like, apparently what you want is literally what is in the film, so I don't understand. I hate this so much. Actually, let me check something real quick. I'm gonna see how many likes or dislikes this video has. It has 17,000 likes to 258 dislikes, so people agree with him. Good, that's awesome.
Don't you know? It has him too bad.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Well, thank you anyway.
And
Why
with
does he
most of
not
the
even
plotlines
try
in
to
here,
make
same
friends?
thing. One more.
Wait, what? Let me rewind.
That's what the text said.
Birthday parties, but was love to invite you. It's just the guest list is closed.
Oh, got it.
Generally, why does he not even try to make friends? He's trying to make friends with Gwen. Like, that conversation, he's being friendly to her. He even changes. He messes around with his hair a bit to make himself look like more presentable. Like,
Has he seen a socially awkward person try to make friends?
yeah, like the thing is,
It is not that easy.
yeah, like like talking to people is not that easy if you're like introverted, especially if you're someone who's just pushed around like Max is all the time. Like, he's still a decent person because like he holds the elevator door for Gwen, and she says, well, thanks, not everybody would have done that, and he says, well, not everybody knows what it's like to be like to not be seen or something like that. So it's like, he actually has a bit of character here, he's a decent person. And the way he talks to Gwen, it's like, well, he wants to be friendly with her. And he's even happy that she remembered his name. He's like, oh, like, she's being friendly with me. That's good. But, you know, he's not trying to make friends, even though you're showing the scene where he is trying to make friends. But whatever. Let's just ignore it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand how you leave this scene in surrounding the arguments that he just made a while ago.
Like, this scene contradicts so much of what he's saying. It's really impressive. And he showed it like 3 times, so it's like, oh, it's good on you, Filmento.
Well, thank you anyway.
And with most of the plotlines in here, same thing. One moment Peter and Gwen are all great.
Oh, great! He's gonna talk about the Peter and Gwen breaking up, even though they like are broken up throughout basically the entire film. It's never, oh, we're together again. Except it's like, oh, they break up in the beginning, that they are together at the end, where he says he's gonna go to England and then she dies. But it all makes sense because of the promise that Peter made in the first film. That is, they continue to explore here because, well, people seem to think that in TASM 1 it's a character assassination when he says those are the best kind, even though it isn't, because they continue to explore it. And these films are talking about the arrogance of being Spider-Man, and Peter being Spider-Man, that he thinks he can juggle living these two lives, while, you know, having the love of his life and also being Spider-Man, even though it's like, well, I don't know if he's gonna be able to do that. But then it's also like, oh, they're trying to set up the thing about Gwen's agency, where it's like, oh no, this is my choice. So it's like, it's not just out of nowhere. It's not like, oh, they broke up now, oh, they're together again. It's way more complicated than that, and people just fucking miss how it works in the film for some fucking reason. Like, everyone misses it, and I fucking hate it. And I'm sorry to go on this rant.
Next moment he's breaking up with her because he keeps seeing her dead dad.
That's not... Yeah, it's more complicated than that, but sure. It's because he sees her dead. I mean, it's what the dead represents, to be honest, but sure. Yeah, like he says, I see him everywhere I go, and she says, it's my father, isn't it? And he says, I see him everywhere I go, and I can't, like, I think I can do this to you. I don't remember the exact dialogue, but it's like,
yeah, then Gwen is like, you have done this to me again and again. I can't live like this.
Yeah, which goes to show that they've broken up with 1,000 times because of Peter. So it's like, oh, this makes sense. And then Gwen breaks up with him this time, which is, oh, this is like a good scene in terms of character building, but whatever. And sorry, you were saying something, Jeb?
I was just going to say what Thingy said. CertainVids said.
Alright.
Despite the fact that this apparently isn't a new thing and doesn't explain why he breaks up with her right now, and
what? But what? What? He's broken up before. Why not? Why not now? What's the problem with breaking up now? What's the issue?
and overall the whole thing feel forced and contrived.
Why? Explain. It's the exact opposite of forced. They established something by the end of the first film. They're continuing that plot line of, oh, I promised Gwen's father that I wouldn't involve her because, well, that might put her at risk. And, like, I'm still dating her, so I don't know how to feel because, you know, I'm a good person, but I love Gwen. I don't know if I should be together with her or not. It's not forced. It's the opposite. And it's like, they've broken up before, so why not break up? Why not now? What's the issue with breaking up now? Why is it... Sorry, what are you saying?
It would be contrived if it was like this just like spur of the moment thing. Peter's just like randomly, yeah, no, I'm gonna break up with you after like 2 years. But that's not what happened.
Yeah, like the line of dialogue from Gwen where she says, "You have done this to me again and again," is the line of dialogue that makes this not contrived. It's like, oh, this has happened before, like, and it makes sense because if they have been together for like 2 years, with Peter being Spider-Man and him having to deal with the promise he made Gwen's father, it's like, oh, this makes sense that they would have had this conversation before because it's a big deal for Peter to deal with. Where he's like trying to keep Gwen safe, but he also wants to be with her because he loves her. It's
that's a reasonable conflict to have, and that's actually a conflict that Spider-Man does have a lot.
Yeah, it's basically what Spider-Man 2 tried to do, but better. People are gonna hate me so much for saying that.
Yeah.
Or just look at the plot. We have no established knowledge of Harry until he suddenly just appears.
Oh no, a character shows up.
It.
Oh no.
We don't need him in the first film. If he was in the first film, it would feel out of place.
Yep. That would have been forced, but then people would have complained about that instead of this film, so whatever, I guess. But it's like, oh, they had to establish him even though he hasn't been in New York for 8 years since Peter was a kid. And people are like, oh no, Peter should have mentioned Harry in the first film. Why? He hasn't talked to Harry in 8 years. Why the fuck would he care?
It's like, he has no reason to mention him. Like, he's not, it doesn't benefit him in any way. All he has to do is just talk to Connors, and Connors is not really, tied to Harry or Norman besides working for them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, he has no reason to be. One is strictly a Peter and his father story, and then 2 is like, it was essentially the sins of our fathers. So it's like both Harry and Peter.
Yep.
So
one thing that
has to
Thought
be there.
said that is interesting to note is that Harry, he comes back because Norman's dying, of course, which is something that's established in TASM 1. So it's like, this was established in the first film. He doesn't come out of nowhere. So, whatever.
Norman Osborn is dying, Dr. Connors. Save him. That's the exact line. I just watched it yesterday.
Or it's both our heads.
Okay.
Yep.
Then turns out that it's because his dad is dying.
It doesn't turn out that. Okay. It doesn't
That's been established.
Yeah, it doesn't
in
turn
the
out
last
that his
movie.
dad is dying. His dad is he's dying.
dying.
Yeah, he is dying
Has been
since the
dying.
first film. Yeah, he has been dying, and it's been established in the first film.
Yeah, Harry wasn't there because he's off to boarding school or whatever.
Yeah, he was sent away because his father thought he wasn't like an obstacle. Because, well, it kind of makes sense. If Norman had to take care of his son, he wouldn't be able to focus on finding a cure, and he needs a cure. Otherwise, not only is he gonna die to his degenerative disease, but also his son is gonna suffer the same fate. So it kind of is like kind of out of love the way Norman does it, because he wants to cure his son before the disease starts to get him. But at this point, the disease gets Harry. So it's like, well, that's a shame.
Yeah, and then it's like, I've heard people say, it's like, oh, why does Harry suddenly have the disease? And doesn't Norman say, like, it starts at your age?
He says it started at your age, in which people say it's contrived, but it's like, if it didn't start at this age, then what's the issue? Like, especially when he's like 19 now, which is like, he's went through puberty, which is usually when stuff like this happens, when it gets like worse.
Yep.
So whatever.
Yeah, Thought
that
saying,
explains why
not
he
just for
came.
me,
Then
for
turns-
you.
Oh yeah, he even says that. True.
Thought that his dad has this weird disease. Well,
It doesn't turn out this. Whatever.
I
No,
guess
it's
it
not
has to be-
contrived. It's not. This has been established.
My greatest inheritance isn't any money, the sum total of all my research. Maybe you can succeed where I failed. Yeah, it's pretty clear that he wanted to cure his son as well. He just the way he did it is like, it seems that he didn't love his son, but well, it's because it's a hard situation to deal with. Especially
because if Harry dies, yeah, go ahead.
Especially when Norman sent Harry away right after Richard died. Right, it's like, oh, Richard ran away with the research at this point. So it's like, basically all these years of research are gone. They're wasted. So now we need to start from scratch. I can't focus on my son. I need to focus on this cure. Otherwise, I'm going to die from this degenerative disease. Which by that point, he's already like walking with a cane. So,
yeah.
Be something. It turns out that this disease is genetic and that Harry is right now also starting to show symptoms of it and will die at any moment unless he gets some...
Die at any moment? No, he's gonna die at Norman's age. What are you saying, you retard? What? Die at any moment? What are you saying?
Like, when did they ever say that he's gonna die right then?
I get it. Like, he says he's dying, but dying is like present tense, you know? It's like, he is dying, he will eventually die. So it's like, you know, he's not exactly gonna die just in a moment. Like, he's not just gonna be in the bathroom and he just passes out or something.
Yeah, the thing
he's gonna do it.
The thing is, this is a degenerative disease. It seems a lot like Huntington's, where it's like you lose motor functions and everything before, and then you die. So it's like, he's not just gonna die, he's gonna suffer from this disease. He's already shaking, and soon he's not gonna be able to walk after a few years. So it's not just that he may die, because dying is not the worst thing. For Harry, the worst thing isn't dying, is that he's gonna have to live with this disease. He's gonna have to like become as weak as his father, which he sees as like a point of that hurts his ego. Where he even says that he says, I think when he's talking to Peter, they say something about his father, and Harry says, "This is me we're talking about, Pete." where it's like implying that he's stronger than his father. So like
Yep.
the problem for Harry isn't that he's dying or that he could die at any moment, which isn't true, by the way. It's that the disease is gonna like make him as weak as his father, and that's something his pride cannot take. And you know, no one wants to not be able to walk or have any motor functions because, well, it's common sense.
Yeah.
special
Stop saying,
blood.
looks
despite
like
the
you're
fact that his
halfway in the
dad
grave
is dying-
already. Only difference is no one's gonna miss you. Harry has no identity for himself outside of survival. He wants nothing to do with Oscorp or his dad.
Yep.
Is genetic,
That's kind
and
of
that
his-
Harry
yeah, that's
is
his
right
motivation.
now also starting to show symptoms of it and will die at any moment unless he gets some special spider blood. Despite the fact that his dad is dying as an old man and that we've never even heard of any of this stuff or them.
We have the first film establishes that Norman is dying. Stop this, you moron! For fuck's sake! Like,
It's Richard's research, or it's like Richard's formula that Peter gives to Connors that gives his arm back, and it's that exact formula that Connors will eventually apply to human trials so that he can save Norman. That's how it's gonna work. So actually, yes, we have established the fact that this spider blood exists, and this is what's gonna save Norman or something like that.
mm-hmm.
Before. If this is what
Stop
you want to
with
do,
this.
then maybe instead of opening your movie with Peter's parents, open your movie with young Peter reeling from his parents' death and have young Harry and his dad visit him. Show Harry consoling Peter to establish that they are childhood friends.
Why?
I mean, why can we not just infer that they've been friends based off of the way they're acting around each other?
Like
Why do we need a
that
separate
scene
scene?
where we have Andrew Garfield and Dane DeHaan. I'm like, I always praise that scene every time I watch it. The thought can attach to it. It's like the chemistry between them. It's like, oh, they know each other. They used to be friends, but they haven't talked in a while. So it's like it's awkward. But then they start talking as if they're like close friends. But then they're catching up, and you can see how it's not just natural with them. They're kind of like trying to reform that relationship, and it's like it's all done subtextually. You don't need to have it that explicitly, which is quite funny for Filmento to do, because you'd think a guy named Filmento, the way he is, he'd want to have stuff more like subtly in films, but I guess not.
Harry's dad shows small symptoms of the disease to establish it exists. Show stuff in a way
But we know it exists because the first film says that the Norman is dying. It's the entire. I hate this so much.
that it doesn't all just oddly appear. Altogether, find the time to organically build up these characters and subplots you're planning to begin, because otherwise it most likely is just gonna be too nonsensically random.
But okay,
It's not random. He falls from there.
Yeah, this is
that's not random.
This is again a conclusion not supported by any of the evidence he provided. This is stupid.
And it's not random that Norman is dying, because we've established that. It's not random that Harry is also dying, because we've established this is a genetic disorder or whatever. It's not random that he needs spider blood, because
you don't even
that's
have to
literally the
establish
point
that
of
it's
the
a
first
genetic
movie.
disease. If you have a degenerative disease, normally they are genetic. Like Huntington's, if your parent has it, it's a 50% chance of you having it. So it's like, I don't
Like almost every disease is gonna be like you have a chance of passing it down.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
like diabetes, like anything.
This arc isn't about Norman and Harry consoling Peter. It's about what Peter's parents meant to him and the fallout of them leaving. You also have to establish why they left, which pays off Peter's research. Yeah, exactly, but people don't understand it. 3 hours of Marcus calling Filmento the R word SMH. I'm sorry, but I can't help it.
Speaking of which, by the way, I gotta tell you this thing that happened to me yesterday. So I was fixing my ceiling when suddenly my dog brought over my phone because it was ringing. And it was Bob Iger, the chairman of Disney. And I know this might seem a bit off, because
What's
how would
happening?
Bob Iger have my number and how
What?
can
What?
I have it?
What's happening?
I don't understand.
Where did Bob Iger? I am so confused. What?
let's continue.
dog when it has never been established to exist, but just trust me. Well, Bob...
Wait.
It was Bob Iger, the chairman of Disney. And I know this might seem a bit off, because how would Bob Iger have my number, and how can I have a dog when it has never been established to exist?
Oh no. I get what he's saying. He's saying, oh, I just happen to know Bob Iger. No one ever knew about this before. And it's like, oh, I happen to know Harry. Peter happened to know Harry. So that's an issue. It's never been established before. Even though it's like, oh, Peter's father used to work at Oscorp trying to find a way to cure Norman's disease. So Peter knowing Harry isn't that big of a stretch, and you don't need to establish it before because, well, the TASM 2 accounts for it, saying that he was sent away 8 years ago. So they have talked in 8 years since they were kids. So again, all of this, it's not a problem. I hate this.
So is he saying like all this stuff is basically the equivalent of like what's in TASM 2?
Mm-hmm.
Or like
probably, yeah. Which is dumb because he's just missing context on the film, but sure.
Me. Well, Bob Iger was just calling to make fun of me for the fact that I couldn't watch the new Mandalorian season because it's not on the Krakosian Disney Plus. And when I checked, yeah, there was no new Mandalorian season. All kinds of stuff, but not that. And I was sad at first because Bob Iger was laughing at me. But then I remembered my magic blue button. I pressed my magic blue button, and suddenly my Krakosian Disney Plus was American Disney Plus, and there was the new Mandalorian season. And you know what that magic blue button was? Yeah, it was Surfshark, the almighty VPN that actually has been established to make stuff like this.
So Neb was wrong. But either way, he managed to throw in a criticism within the ad. That's pretty interesting. I mean, the criticism was inaccurate, but that's cool.
I mean, I kind of hate...
no idea what we were doing for a second.
I hate when video essayists do this in the middle of their videos to try and get more money out of it. It's pretty scummy.
Yeah, I really much rather have it in the beginning of the video or by the end, but whatever.
And it cuts like the entire momentum they may have had in the video. Granted, this video is shit, so it didn't have any. But, you know.
This part of it to sponsor this video with a special 83% off discount that also gives you 3 extra months for free by using code FILM. So if you want to protect your personal data from being stolen by hackers like Disney chairman Bob Iger, or if you want to see all the
By the way, these ads about VPN, they're so retarded about saying, oh, it's going to protect you from hackers. It's like, that's not how it works, but sure.
Yep. And it angers me.
There's a good video from Tom Scott explaining how these VPNs work, how like it's very misleading marketing. But I'm sorry to cut you off, Jeb. You're the one that knows about this.
Yeah, the VPNs just hide your footprint, but it doesn't protect you from hackers. Once they find your footprint, they can do what they want. So.
Yeah, kind of misleading, but whatever, I guess.
Content that every streaming service always divides behind some level of geolocks, check out the link in the description and get Surfshark's Magic Blue Bun for yourself. You'll be helping out the channel as well. But anyway, pretty great story, huh? At least Amazing Spider-Man 2 thinks so.
See, it was a criticism. Okay, thanks. But yeah, this was dumb. Sorry, but this is a false equivalence. It's like, oh, the first film establishes. We already mentioned this. So I'm not gonna repeat myself. This is just pain at this point. Oh, he just moved on. I thought he was gonna continue it. Okay, so that was the ending of the Harry point, I guess. So
that was like the end of the section talking about how things just randomly happen. I guess.
Yes.
Because he started that with like dice of a start, I think. So now we're moving on to empty case.
The middle section of this excess problem is that since you have all these different subplots and characters, many of which have now been built on such flimsy foundations, it's very difficult.
What? What do you mean flimsy foundation? What?
What flimsy foundation?
Dude, please, for the love of God, qualify your statements. I don't want to see just a clip on the screen without you actually qualifying why a thing is bad or not.
This is like the video version of Twitter saying this film is a masterpiece. Here are 4 screenshots that prove nothing.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's basically the video version.
Yep. I hate this overused VHS sound effect how these shitty video essays always use. Yeah, it's really overdone at this point. Like, I don't really care, but yeah, people use it a lot.
For them to actually have real substance in terms of goals and stakes and urgency and so on and so on. For example, look at the conspiracy plotline that begins the movie. Peter's dad destroys his work at Oscorp and steals some data, after which he leaves Peter...
He doesn't steal, he deletes. Unless he's talking about, like, physical, which is like... He didn't steal, he just... The only thing he takes is his briefcase, he's not stealing any data.
He was made out to steal, like, he was made out to be like, oh, he stole the researcher stuff, but that's not what he actually did.
Oh, yeah, but the thing is, the screen shows that he's deleting files when they show the computer screen.
Right, so yeah.
He again missed...
Yeah, but Oscorp was, like, saying, like, oh, he was a traitor, and he, like...
Oh, no, yeah, that he was running away with the research, but I'm talking about, like, Filmento, from his point of view. He's
right.
Missing context from the film. Again, awesome.
Yeah, he's not stealing anything.
May and Uncle Ben and runs off with his wife to leave their old life behind, which doesn't go
smart plan.
I'm just gonna pause because of copyright, but yeah, you don't need this.
Richard does this. Doesn't Richard blow out the window?
Yeah.
He does this on purpose.
Yeah, he shoots the window so that yeah. No, I don't think he's criticizing. He just says it doesn't go well, but I don't think it's a criticism.
Right.
I think he's just recapping the plot at this point to set up what his points are going to be. Again, I'm gonna pause for copyright. But again,
the music.
He's sure clips are way too big. I don't understand.
I mean, I don't mind watching clips from the movie.
The kickoff to this parent subplot is actually pretty great and intriguing, but then all of a sudden, because we have all this other stuff that has nothing to do with it, it kind of gets...
Nothing to do with it except, Harry and, Peter's character. Like, Peter's our entire arc happens due to him, like, it concludes because of the video from Richard and Harry. The thing that explains why the spider venom doesn't work on him is explained by Richard, and it's like it does have to do with it. Like, it sets up something. It doesn't even set up. It's like developing something that was set up in the first film, and then it has the payoff when we see the video in the subway, the train station. So I guess if you really want to misrepresent the film, then sure, that first scene doesn't have anything to do with it.
Toss this together. Peter has no goals or motivations or anything relating to his parents. His parents have no...
What? What? Did you miss, the film? Like, when Gwen is leaving, and after he finds out that Harry's dying, the only thing he has left is like, oh, I need to know about my parents. Like, I can't lose everything. He even says the thing saying, do I have to lose you too? It's like, he doesn't, like, the only thing he has left at this point is like to try to find out about his parents, and he has been wanting to do so since the first film. Like, the entire plot of the first film only happens because he wants to find out more about his parents. And we even show when Peter is graduating in this film, he's talking to Aunt May, and Aunt May says, oh, I wish Uncle Ben was here to see this. And Peter says, and my folks. So it's like, he clearly wants to know more about his parents. This doesn't come up from nothing, you retard.
Like, is there another point that he like kind of like worded wrong? I don't know. This is just not true. This is just false.
Also, in TASM 1, it's shown that Peter has a lot of baggage with the parents, because when Uncle Ben says Richard's line that he would use, Peter gets really angry about it.
Yeah, he says, why is he not here to tell me himself? Or something like that. So it's like, again, missing context from Filmento. Great.
on anything he does, which for the next half of the film reduces the subplot to a couple offhanded glimpses and mentions.
What do you think? One guy or many?
Well,
You don't have to show it
yeah.
a lot. You have to show it in a way that makes sense within the story.
Well, isn't that just like Peter just like, suppressing that part of himself until he just has nothing else to go to?
Yep.
So it's like it's building towards him, like exploring that part of his life again.
And like there's that
Like,
entire
he-
montage with the For You song where it's like
Yep.
like it's what, a couple minutes, because it's like the duration of a song where he's trying to find out what happened to his parents and everything. So it's like, oh, they do spend time on it. It's not just something that they just offhandedly mention. I really want to understand what Filmento is trying to say, but he doesn't help us.
Wait, how is what?
It's not until
Wait, that was
Why-
like,
why does that one count?
Wait.
That's right after him exploring about his parents. Why are we counting that as him neglecting that? That's
I
him
just-
leaving the room.
I also want to say, if it's just, I think he's, no, I got no clue to be honest. But if he's just saying that this is them talking about his parents and everything, you know how he's showing the film runtime on the top right. See this scene, they they touch upon Richard. Wait, no, this is the same scene. Yeah, this is when the scene starts. Isn't it? He puts he's taking like off his uniform after he confronts Electro, and then he sees it in his closet, and he starts to listen to music, and then he goes back to
And
the
then he goes to
closet.
it, yep.
Yeah, he angrily opens the closet. So it's the same scene. So so then what I was gonna say, no, that doesn't make any sense anymore. I have no clue what he's saying, to be honest.
See, I don't know why we're counting this one. This is him after
It's not
he
until
explored
80
that
minutes
subplot.
in that the
That's right
opening
after they
final-
explored it.
And it's like that. This happens
That's
what
just so
20, 15 minutes later after that other scene. Like it's not that long afterwards. So it's like they do explore it. It's like a build up. They establish it in the first film, then it all builds up to this scene, and it's really great because the acting and the dialogue is really good.
only comes back in when Peter confronts his aunt to learn a terrible truth about his parents.
After the funeral, two government men came to see us. The genetics research that your father was doing with Norman Osborn was very valuable.
Okay, I'm just gonna pause because of copyright. But I just
Yeah, he hasn't misrepresented the film so far in this section, so far so good.
Yeah, for the last 30 seconds he hasn't misrepresented the film because like the last 15 seconds has been a scene of the film. So
And that people would pay a lot for it. And that's why he ran off with it. They said he was a traitor.
And so now Peter finally has a clearer goal of finding out the real truth about his parents. Great.
this actually no. He had that goal beforehand because now he has basically the truth, and the truth is, why would I search it? My parents were like traitors. Like he doesn't have anything more to go off of. Like
Yeah.
he has that goal from the beginning. From the scene where he opens the briefcase again, which is 15 minutes earlier, where he just ignored that the scene exists basically.
So if I'm remembering the events of the film correctly, it's him. He fights Electro. He okay. Number one, he always has this intention of exploring what happened with his parents, but he's suppressing it, like we see with the briefcase in the closet and everything. He starts exploring it in the For You scene. After that, Aunt May sees like his wall, and she tells him the truth. And so now he's just like, oh crap, my dad was a traitor. And then I think it's after, and then he, in a fit of rage, he throws a calculator, and that's where he finds out about the coins, and he goes to the train.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I mentioned it on Twitter. I forgot to explain it to you. how that's not contrived, the calculator thing, where it's like he already
Oh,
had all
right, yeah.
the pieces to figure out the puzzle. Like his aunt already told him about the D train, and he had the train ticket. He already had one of the train tickets that wasn't inside the calculator, and he had the Roosevelt thing. Like he had all the pieces for him already. So him throwing the calculator, it's like it just makes him think more strongly about it, but he would have figured it out anyway if he hadn't thrown the calculator. If he had, and throwing the calculator is also something that makes sense with his character. In a fit of rage, something that belongs to his father, and he's angry at his parents, so it's like, yeah, that makes sense that he'd throw. Not only that, but it also doesn't affect the plot, so anyway, it's not contrived, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's just that at this point there's a bit of a problem. The problem of so what? The notion of Peter's parents being
Wait,
criminals
what do you mean?
has played no part in his life in this movie whatsoever. This
What? It's he was trying to figure out from the first film. Like the first film, he does the research, and it's like they ran away and the plane crashed, and he goes to Connors to try to figure out something, to try to figure out what happened to his parents, but Connors doesn't know either. So it has been playing a part since the first film.
first time he even hears about it. And so what? When Peter goes and finds his dad's secret subway train to learn that his parents were actually the good guys, it changes nothing. It
changes nothing.
What?
He had lost all his hope on his. He had lost all hope basically because Harry is dying. Gwen is going away. Then Uncle Ben had died in the previous film. It's like he has nothing left except for like Aunt May. So when he finds out that his parents, the only thing he has like to cling on to at this point, they were traitors. They were running away for money, which also is a big deal because of the lesson he learned in the first film that Uncle Ben taught him of the if you wanna like if you have the power to do something good, you have to do it, no matter what. That's responsibility. He like that's just thrown out the window basically because his own father didn't follow that because his father was a traitor. He was running away for money. So that is a big fucking deal. Peter basically lost all hope. So when he sees this is like the embodiment of hope. This is like, no, I'm doing this because it's like for the greater good. I'm doing this because I love my son, because I don't want to put him in danger anymore. He matters more to me than anything else. It's like, oh, this, is a very good thing for Peter's character at this point. Like, it's a very good exploration of his arc.
Yeah, like, in these movies, Peter Parker is a man who's driven by basically the absence of his parents or whatnot. Mm-hmm. So learning that they weren't good people kind of breaks him. And then learning that they were good people is pretty significant for him until Gwen dies, and then he loses all hope again.
Yep.
Until he
watches the video where she basically becomes
hope.
After
it all connects. It all connects to the theme of hope, and how you should always maintain hope in the darkest of times.
Yeah.
It's also the driving factor for why he goes to Gwen again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. He after he leaves the sewer, he goes to Gwen at the bridge. It's like because basically he's found hope again, and he's like, well, I'm not gonna lose her. I don't want to lose her. I want to cling on to her because like you just can't let people like that you love just be gone like that. It's like,
yeah, he's gonna follow her wherever she goes.
Yeah, which is good as well. But people say that he's just abandoning Aunt May. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that he had to live with Aunt May until she died.
It's not like Peter's parents being thought of as criminals has made his life difficult. It's not like other people ever bring it up to use against him. It's not like...
Well, how would they?
I just...
Like,
does he think that's the only way to explore that concept? This is so dumb.
Like, in the film, how would Harry Osborn and Electro do this? Would they just go up to Peter and go, ha ha, your parents were traitors, and then he'll go, like, I don't understand.
I'm a little lost.
That he needs to overcome by vindicating his parents. It's not like there's any kind of stakes or urgency or purpose or anything.
Yeah, there is no urgency, that I agree with.
to it. Considering that so
but
far,
there
Peter's been
is-
able to
fuck.
just lock it away in the closet.
Fuck, yeah. There is stakes, but apparently you just missed it. And yeah, he has been able to lock it away in the closet, so much so that every time he looks at it, he's angry, and that he was so able to lock it away in the closet that he throws it in the closet, he slams the door, and then the next time he opens it, he closes it angrily. Then he goes to sit on his bed, and then he gets up, trying to figure out everything he can about his parents. It's like the two scenes we see about the briefcase, he hasn't been able to lock it up in the closet. Like, it clearly shows that he wasn't able to, but
that so far, Peter's been able to just lock it away in the closet, meaning that the bulk of this entire parent subplot just seems kinda pointless. Same
wait, what?
with the other stuff.
Same with the others. What? You're saying the plot of the film seems pointless? What did you say?
Remove it from the film.
Pointless.
Get a film.
If you remove the film from the film, that's how it goes.
Just don't have a film.
I'm so confused.
Brett just put her down, Harry. Very poor choice of words. Peter, son of traitors.
The plotline of Peter and Gwen breaking up to create conflict and sexual tension between them,
I break up with you. I break up with you.
I love this.
which ultimately serves no purpose.
What? That's literally the most important scene in the film. That's the scene that makes the entire film exist. Like, if that scene didn't exist, Gwen dying at the end wouldn't be such a big deal. Like, what are you saying, dude? Oh my god, did you not watch the film? Like, genuinely, it serves no purpose. Like genuinely, you just watch the writer's commentary. What they say about the scene, it's like, well, this scene we have to establish this conflict between them, where it's like they have broken up before and whatnot. We have to establish the idea of Gwen's agency, and we have to set up how the Gwen's death by the end will be so like impactful to Peter. And it's like we have to do all these things with this just small scene. So it was like the hardest scene to deal with. They said they redrafted it like hundreds of times, which is a good thing to hear every time. I'm really baffled here by what he's saying. Like, he clearly doesn't understand the film, and it's like, I hate when people say that, like, you just missed the point, but he clearly missed the point of the film.
Second time they meet, they suddenly break up. Third time they meet, they're already all over each other.
Yeah, because they still love each other, you moron.
They're not.
They don't even kiss. They don't even kiss, dude. When they're gonna kiss, Gwen says, "I'm moving to England." Like, basically saying that, and she even says that she wants to move to England as one of the reasons, because to not lead on Peter. He's like,
Yep. Exactly.
It's difficult to find any real conflict or tension between them when they're fondling and kissing each other.
yeah, it's human emotions don't work like you think they do, Filmento. I'm sorry, but people don't just fall out of love with each other. Like, she in that scene, even she says that she says that Max, he was like a Spider-Man fanatic, and then Peter says, well, last night he tried to kill me, zapping me with the electricity and whatnot, and she says, well, that's what it's like to love you. So it's like, oh, she still loves him. She just can't be with him because, well, she can't deal with the breaking up, just breaking up and getting back together every time because of the thing, because of what Captain Stacy told Peter. It's like,
But it's pointless, bro. It's pointless.
this video is fucking
It
pointless.
doesn't go anywhere.
Did Marcus stub his stuff?
Every chance they...
You just kissed me.
How'd you like it?
I felt a little bit rushed.
Like, if they both...
So he just cut off the part of the clip where he says, felt a little bit rushed. Peter's reaction to that is what matters to the conflict, but you're just gonna cut that. It's like, no, who needs the fucking context for this video? Who the fuck cares?
so clearly want to be with each other without there being any obstacles blocking that, then why aren't they just with each other? Why
Did you miss
that's
the
a
film,
conflict.
you moron? Jesus Christ. Like, that's exactly how they solve it with Peter being like, no, we're gonna be together, and like, I'm not gonna break up with you anymore. It's not gonna be like me, like having to deal with your father, the promise I made your father. Like, I can handle it, and I'm going to England with you because, well, I love you more than anything. And they have crime there, don't they? It's like, it's such a good dialogue, it's such a good scene, but they just forget it. They just ignore it. I fucking hate this video so much.
Have them break if it serves no point. It's not that Peter has a strong urgent goal of getting Gwen back before she leaves to study in England. He pretty much already has her back, and now they're just standing around waiting for the results to...
He doesn't have her back. She's still moving to England, you retard. They just love each other.
If you love somebody, they belong to you.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
To see if she gets to England. Or look at the Harry plotline again. Harry gets in conflict with Peter because he needs that special spider blood to save his life, and Peter isn't so sure about giving it, which could have been very powerful if it was built to be personally tied to Peter, like the trailers made it seem.
You're gonna want to see this.
What?
Wait, what? But it is tied to Peter. What are you saying?
I don't understand that.
Wait, no, I'm gonna rewind. I am confused.
For the results to see if she gets to England. Or look at the Harry plotline again. Harry gets in conflict with Peter because he needs that special spider blood to save his life, and Peter isn't so sure about giving it, which could have been very powerful if it was built to be personally tied to Peter, like.
But it is. He even says, like, he asked for the help. For Peter's help.
Peter.
Yeah, Peter is the only one that can help, and he says, "I'm not sure, Harry. Like, he could do something worse than just killing you and everything." And then he's like, "Don't turn your back on me," because when Peter's walking out, and he says, "I don't want to turn out like my father." So it is very personal because Peter's Harry's only hope at this point, which ties back to the thing about hope, because Peter says that Spider-Man brings people hope. And well, show
You're
Harry,
a fraud,
he just took it away.
Spider-Man.
It's just, did he miss the film?
But yeah, no, this is just like this. It does happen. Like, what he wants to happen happens in the movie. So I don't understand where the issue is.
The trailers.
You're gonna want to see this.
Basically, he wanted the stuff they showed in the trailers. He wanted it to be in the film, so he's trying to find reasons to blame the film for it, even though the film makes sense without it. Good job.
It's so wow. I'm genuinely speechless. I have nothing to say.
Why? Isn't that the question of the day?
But here, because they needed to trim this down to fit in all this other stuff,
that's just, again, I'm gonna say it again. This is just an assumption he's making based on nothing. He doesn't have any proof that they had to trim it down or whatever, but whatever.
The whole thing becomes so incredibly shallow that it gets to the point of being downright ridiculous.
Tell me where he is, and I will go ask him myself.
Why?
Yeah, Harry's desperate. Why is that an issue?
Yeah, please, for the love of God, qualify your point.
You took his picture, so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're gonna do something, then do it.
That's it then.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, that makes sense because number one, Harry's desperate, so any lead he has, he's going to jump on it. Number two, I don't know what the newspaper said. I think it was something along the lines of like first
clear
photo.
Yep.
Yeah. So anybody who gets a clear photo like that is going to have some sort of lead.
Yeah.
In
The
some
thing is,
way,
if
shape,
it's
or
been
form.
like 2 years since Spider-Man has been active, and this is the first clear photo, Peter clearly is doing something different. So then other
Peter
people
has some sort of lead that everybody else doesn't have. So Harry's gonna ask Peter, and he's lucky because Peter is his friend, so he can ask him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it works.
Don't bother only part of the way, because that usually results in lacking goals and motivations, which in turn makes what you're doing shallow and without a point. Things might
But
be
Peter
happening
has
in your movie,
goals and
but
motivations.
nothing.
Apparently,
He has. It's not shallow. He has goals. He has the same. He has continuing goals from the first movie, he kind of ended like part of his arc, but he still has like unresolved mysteries, like Ben said at the end. So he has to resolve those. It's really not that shallow.
Way, because that usually results in lacking goals and motivations, which in turn makes what you're doing shallow and without a point. Things might be happening in your movie, but nothing really happens.
Wow, that is a stupid thing to say, especially about that movie. But I guess he's just all the conclusions he arrives at. It's like, wow, this is like such a video essay line. Like stuff happens without anything happening. It's like, no, stop using this word salad. Just say something that makes sense.
Like that's an okay statement if you apply it to a movie that fits it. But this is a movie where things are happening. People are going through arcs. They are developing. They are dying. So, yeah.
Finally, the excess problem at the end can then very easily lead to a lacking resolution that ultimately leaves the audience with an unfulfilled, frustrated feeling about the whole experience. Looking at the max plotline again, on the surface we do get this massive finale battle that serves as an ultimate sum total payoff to all the different things we've done before. We have this huge visually striking clash at this power grid site that has been established to be Max's creation, which gives him home field advantage. We have
so you do know he's involved in the creation of that. Good to know.
Yeah, that's like very good that you're saying this. You know, doesn't contradict at all anything you said before in the video.
New
it's like Ben said. Don't answer that, but I'm glad to know it's working.
That he built throughout the story to give himself a fighting chance. We have
It wasn't him who built it. It was Gwen who helped him magnetize it. But sure, it is a payoff.
Being a crucial part of the plan of defeating Max because she has worked on this place as an Oscorp employee. We have all this stuff coming together to make this finale battle feel big. Except, of course, it doesn't. Because none of that stuff I just mentioned is real. Max
What do you mean it isn't? What? None of the stuff I mentioned exists. It's Schrodinger's film. Nothing is actually in the film. What is he saying? None of it exists.
Where did we just go?
None of it is real.
That was such a massive left turn. Like we're just completely agreeing with him. He's just like, oh, by the way, none of that exists.
Yeah, none of this is real. What do you mean it's not real? What?
Oh my god, what?
That's the most baffling thing I've heard in a video in a while. Dude. What the hell? It's not real.
I'm glad I did not see this beforehand.
It's all in Peter's head. Yeah, this is like Joker where you have the end, you have the interpretation where it all happens in Arthur's head. It's the same thing. It's all in Peter's head. What?
It's none of it's real.
None of it is real. Dude, I'm sorry. I know we need to go on, but this is such a baffling thing to say.
I'm just puzzled at this one thing. Like, this just came out of nowhere. It had no build up, like, whatsoever. Like, wow. Nice.
Yeah, he's saying, oh, they set up this thing and it's paid off by the end, and this other thing, it's also paid off, and this other thing, but it's not real. It's so... Okay, I guess.
Like, the weird thing is, like, everything he said was making sense. He was describing actual things that happened in the movie. So I don't know what he means by, oh, none of that actually happened in the movie. It's not real.
Jesus Christ.
Actually been to this before to set up that it exists and show how it works. It's just something that's been briefly mentioned.
I submitted a lot of designs for the power grid, and they used a lot of them, and I noticed
but that's like a big deal for his character, that he was betrayed by Oscorp, that they took his grid, the grid design. Like, yeah, does he like, because he says he just mentioned offhandedly, but if it was mentioned in a way that it was made a big deal out of, wouldn't it be like forced exposition? Like, this way it seems really natural within the story. So I just...
Yeah, it's like, it's like, yeah, sure, you're doing the bare minimum, but that's all you need.
Mm-hmm.
And those were designed by me.
You designed them? Sure you did.
Peter never actually figured out how to make his gear electric.
Oh, so because they only mentioned it once. So he is he saying that they did like to show that he built it, even though he was carrying the blueprints for the thing, which is show don't tell, but apparently you don't understand that Filmento, you fucking moron.
So that little editing trick, I'm guessing that means like you don't buy the fact that he built that, but I mean
he did. It's
he
established.
did,
I'm sorry, I don't care.
like are you saying we need more evidence that he built it? Because like whatever the movie's telling you is kind of what you have to operate by. You don't create your own logic.
Yeah, like I can understand something where you're like where it's like show don't tell, where it's like a character says something, but then what the show or film says contradicts that. Where I said show because in my mind I was thinking of Mandalorian, where they say that Mando is like the best bounty hunter in the parsec, even though he's a fucking moron throughout the entire show. So it's like that's a contradiction. That's the problem. That's what the problem with the show. But in the film, nothing contradicts that. Especially that thought mentioned, and I forgot you, and I had forgotten about it. But Merkin mentioned it when they were spying on Harry at the river. Max Dillon, we appropriated some of his designs for the power grid. He was basically invisible. Let's keep it that way. So they do mention it even more than once.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Electricity resistant because his time was instead spent looking for his dad's subway train.
But did it just say that they didn't focus on that plot point? Like, didn't he say that plot point it was something that just came out of nowhere and they didn't spend a lot of time on? And now he's saying, oh no, he spent his time doing it instead of something else. It's just like, which one is it?
It's all in Peter's head. It's all in his head. It's just non-existent. It just doesn't happen.
Jesus Christ.
Don't try to understand it. Feel it.
God damn.
Something that Gwen threw together in 2 seconds in the scene before this.
Yes, because it's a very simple thing to do.
Yeah.
You just have to magnetize them. That's not a difficult task. It takes literally 2 seconds in a car battery.
Okay, works good.
And that is why you were number 2 at Midtown.
And Gwen herself has never actually had any established ties to this place whatsoever to justify having crucial knowledge of it. It's just
except for the fact that she works at Oscorp.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna rewind because what exactly did he say?
And Gwen herself has never actually had any established ties to this place whatsoever.
Dude, she works at Oscorp. Oscorp has just built a grid that powers the entirety of New York. All she needs to know is where the master key is, which is something Peter wouldn't know, but she would. It's like she works at Oscorp. She would be involved with the biggest project they've ever had at Oscorp, don't you think?
Yeah, thought saying, remember that closet conversation when she explicitly mentioned that she researched Max?
Yep.
And, like, this is not a special project or something. This is something powering New York. You're gonna have knowledge of this if you work at Oscorp. And it's not like she's getting into the nitty-gritty of it all. She's just like, she just needs to power it off or whatever. Or just, find the master key. It's something very simple, very basic that you would know if you work there.
Yep. Yeah, which is like a lot. Some people. One thing I think it was Cosmonaut who said in this video, where it's like she says she knows the grid specs, but the only thing she does is pull a master key, which is like, oh, then why didn't Peter do that if he's just pulling a master key? But like, it's pretty simple. She knows where it is. Peter wouldn't know. He wouldn't have the time to just look for it because he's fighting Electro at this point. So it's like she knows where the master key is. That's what matters at this point.
Justify having full knowledge of it. It's just something that she now says.
I'm coming with you. I've seen the grid specs and I know how to reset the entire system.
Sure you did.
I know how to help you.
Fucking hell, kill yourself, Filmento.
Okay, so she knows this because she works at Oscorp. If she didn't work at Oscorp and she just randomly set this, I can understand the issue. But yeah, like he's showing the fact that she said it twice.
Oh, that's what he says in this video. I thought it was a cosmonaut. So hey, I countered this point before he made it. Whoa, that's awesome, dude. Okay, so I don't even need to repeat myself. I can just laugh at Filmento being a fucking moron. She also would know that she would need a key to open it, and then, you know, but whatever.
So does Peter know that you just have to pull one master switch?
Nope. And also, how would he do that if he's fighting Electro? Especially when his plan of beating Electro is, you're gonna reset it when I say so that I can overload Max. So it's like, they need the both of them to execute the plan.
And you could also see it as like, you know, if Gwen wants to convince Peter to let her go there, she's gonna have to, you know, tell him that she knows more than just basic information, so that he'll let her.
And this also reinforces Gwen's agency, where she says, "It's my choice. I want to be here." So.
And when you put all that
thought
together,
said the same thing I said. So yeah.
Fighting in a place that hasn't ever been established, with gear that wasn't ever really...
Place that has never been established. But you said it was established. Like, it's even part of it's the part of Electro's plan. That's what he says when he's when Kafka is fucking torturing him. He says he's gonna go to the grid.
That's what he means by "I'm gonna kill the light." That's what he says by "I'm gonna kill the light."
And even Harry mentions it to him when he says he's gonna break him out. He says, "Then you can take the grid. You can take back what's yours." Yeah, he says, "Then you can take back what's yours." So.
Yeah, because we established the fact that Oscorp stole it from him. So yeah.
Yeah, it's and you know, Oscorp betrayed him just like Oscorp betrayed Harry. It's like, whoa, this is a good way to interconnect everything. That's so cool.
According to knowledge that was never learned, it yanks away all the power.
How do you know if she didn't learn it? How can you say definitively that Gwen didn't learn this information if she's literally telling you she did?
Because he says so. So shut the fuck up, CV. You're just wrong. Jesus Christ.
Because when this massive finale battle is built on only the one small setup of blowing Electro up...
But you just said it was built upon other setups.
Yeah, you never mentioned the battery thing this entire video. I'm sorry, but you did not.
Battery, the whole thing just ends up feeling tiny, which is why the filmmakers then also tossed in this random plane moment in a
random plane. I'm sorry they're gonna show how this affects normal people. You know, I'm sorry they're showing the stakes. Like, this is so dumb.
Isn't it a common complaint of like superhero movies of they don't show the human side or anything like that? How are humans being affected? Okay, so this movie is literally showing you that. They're literally showing you, one, how random people are affected, and number two, how Anne May, who is somebody directly connected to Peter, who is in this fight, is affected. So yeah, they are doing it.
Yeah, and it's like and it's exactly when I watched it with thought what he said. It's like, what are the two places that are going to be most affected by a power outage? Oh, a hospital and airplanes. Like,
yep.
You show those two places, and one of them we even have an emotional connection to because of Aunt May. This is dumb. This is so dumb.
Desperate Hail Mary to make us at least feel something.
To make us at least feel something.
Yes,
no,
sorry,
I feel
I'm
a
so,
lot, dude.
I'm so sorry the filmmakers
this
wanted you to feel connected.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. They wanted to attempt that.
Oh, this is so
How dare they?
Stupid.
How dare they have an emotional connection in this movie? What a bunch of plebs.
Imagine wanting the people to watch your film to, you know, be invested in it. That's fucking dumb.
What kind of logic is that? Emotional investment.
And the sad thing is that in here, that's actually pretty good, considering that in most other cases, there is no resolution at all. That subplot of Peter looking for the truth about his parents to vindicate them. Yeah, it never comes back at the end.
What?
Because it doesn't have to.
That's the end of the subplot. When he finds out about the video, when he watches the video, that's the resolution.
So, why would it come back if it's been resolved? dude, this is crazy. It did get resolved. That's why they don't bring it back, because when you resolve something, that's the end. You're not supposed to continue it after that because you don't have to.
Yeah, this is a resolution, and the how like it's continued by how it affects Peter's character. Like it's basically Peter's father became Hope after he died to Peter, as well as Gwen after she died. It's like how tying to the theme of hope. So,
and it's like you were saying, like if they had that scene of his father showing up at the graveyard, it would have cemented that fact that this storyline is over. But they didn't have it, so
yeah,
you can't really use that. But even without it, it still makes sense. Like you can clearly tell this is him learning his father was a good guy, and the fact that he had a smart plan and, you know, destroying the spiders and stuff and putting his own blood in there. So yeah, it's I don't know where would you go with this? Like, can I ask the question, what more you want them to do once it's over? Like, what more resolution do we need for Peter?
In the subplot of Harry falling out with Peter and Spider-Man purely for the fact that they don't give him that special spider blood that he's gonna die without at any moment, just
Not
like
at
his
any
dad.
moment.
Yeah, no.
Speaking of progress,
you're saying what? It's not, but like it's a big deal.
Wait.
When he goes to Max Evans,
Rewind.
Max says that I had a friend once didn't work out, and Harry says, yeah, me neither.
There is no resolution at all. That subplot of Peter looking for the truth about his parents to vindicate them. Yeah, it never comes back at the end in any way. The subplot of Harry falling out with Peter and Spider-Man purely for the fact that they don't give him that special spider blood that he's gonna die without at any moment, just like his dad. Yeah, no.
speaking of progress, you're looking better.
What, did you just cut when he says it comes and goes, which shows that he's not better, that he's still suffering from the disease? I don't understand what point you're making, dude.
Is it okay? So if the point is that, like, I don't understand it, so I'm just, you know, just guessing here. If the point is that he's like not dying anymore, I think that's because you know, he has blood. He got the blood. So yeah, I don't. Should we rewind one more time?
I mean, the thing is, we don't know if he's dying or not. We know that just like physically how visually it affects Harry. It comes and goes, but you could argue that like he's not gonna die from that disease anymore because of the venom blood. But he's suffering from, he's still suffering from his disease, at least like externally.
That he's gonna die without at any moment, just like his dad. Yeah, no.
Speaking of progress, you're looking better.
I'm already dying. I have no time. This will save my life. And you betrayed me.
It comes and goes.
What?
Wait. Okay, so Thought's right. Dishonest editing. Those voices in the back, those aren't part of the scene.
Yeah, but I think he's just. I don't know if he's dishonest. I think he's just trying to. No, I have no clue. Someone in chat said Peter's father is alive in the deleted scene at the end of the movie, so I guess you could say that the subplot didn't end. But that's a deleted scene in canon. He's dead, and that subplot did end, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Pretty only good resolution comes in the subplot of Peter and Gwen. Well,
The
not
only
good.
the only good resolution. But didn't you say that there was another good resolution with the setup about the batteries and overloading it?
I think that was like him saying that all of this is just built upon that one thing or something like that. I don't know.
No clue.
Good as in positive, but good as in it carries a clear effective impact. See, after Gwen has died, her death is what pushes Peter to make a highly emotional choice of leaving his life as Spider-Man behind.
Sure.
I mean,
resolution, consequence, just how it should be.
and just how it is throughout the entire film. Oh fuck! No! I don't want to watch this again. I clicked it on the wrong part.
We were at 17. Yeah.
Before this, I guess. Yeah, it was here.
consequence, just how it should be. For example, remember how at the beginning I mentioned the plotline of Peter's life as Spider-Man and then just left it out altogether? Yeah, well, this is the plotline we ultimately end on, meaning that we now need to find a way for Peter to choose to become Spider-Man once more, a way that leaves the audience off with an emotionally fulfilled feeling. And how could we do?
That's actually what the writer said when they were crafting the scene of Peter listening to Gwen's speech after the dialogue with May. It's like the writers in the writers' commentary, they're like, how do we, because you can't end the Spider-Man film without Peter being Spider-Man. Like, that's a very sad note to end on. So what do you do? Well, you have you're gonna have Gwen herself tell Peter how you do it. So then you have basically you're gonna have Gwen tell Peter that's like people dying, that's not just them leaving you. They still live on, being like hope within your life. So she becomes a symbol of hope to Peter. That was really cool. That sad note would be cool. It would if there was gonna be another film. Since there isn't, I really like the way they ended the film on. I know Jeb thinks that this thing is kind of rushed in the film. I mean, I don't think he thinks it's rushed. I think it was like wasted potential. But we talked about it. I think it's more of a subjective thing from him, because
because I find with Spider-Man No More in any medium, it has so much potential behind it. And personally, for me, I'd love a film where it's dedicated to just that, and a mental health challenge for Peter, to really hone in the fact that he is like everybody else.
Do this? Well, maybe by concluding one of the other remaining plotlines. Maybe Peter's dad shows up alive sometime after Gwen's death to give a final piece of fatherly advice to Peter, thus result.
Yeah, but if you were to pay attention to the writer's commentary, what they say, why they cut the scene, they talk a lot about the scene. It's basically the entire credits of the movie are talking about the scene, where it's like they cut. It was like a beautiful scene they shot, and the dialogue was great. Performances were brilliant, but they had to cut it because it would leave in people's minds that feeling of why didn't he show up before, or how is he alive and everything, where it's like you don't want to have that, so it's better to have the film not have Richard showing up, even if it is like an emotional scene. So, and like the plot line was already concluded by this point, so it doesn't really matter anyway.
Resolving the parent subplot in a way that causes Peter to make a choice that carries emotional weight. That's one possibility.
If you lose hope, then the Osborns of the world really have one. Your mother died for nothing. Gwen died for nothing. I can't come to terms with a world like that. With great power comes great responsibility.
But of course, that or anything like it never happens because all that stuff had to be trimmed out in order to fit parts of everything in this movie.
Yeah, so I can confirm this is false. Like I just said, I mentioned the writer's commentary. The writers said that they cut the scene. It wasn't because they had other stuff that the film was too long that they had to cut this. They cut this because it would leave the audience with questions in their mind instead of like just feeling the emotion of the scene. Like it's really like the last 10-15 minutes of the writer's commentary is just them talking about why they cut the scene. And it's like it was really interesting to hear their thought process behind cutting it, because it is a brilliant scene, but I 100% agree that it shouldn't have been in the film, and it was ultimately a better idea not to have it, because like logically it doesn't make sense that he's alive, and why didn't he show up before? Why is he just showing up now? And all these things where it's like it's something that the film couldn't just like add this scene without creating problems. So, but whatever, I guess. Like Filmento is the type of person, from this video at least it seems to me, that he's just like, oh, this is I prefer emotion over substance. So whatever is done to make me feel that emotion, I don't really care if it made sense to get there.
And so, Peter chooses to become Spider-Man once more at this very moment just because that's what he does. Effectively stripping away
No, it's the speech. It's the speech that inspires him. What do you mean it's just what he does?
Yeah, like Aunt May says, they have the conversation about what do you do with what she's gonna do with Uncle Ben stuff, where she's like, well, I'm gonna take one last look and then I'm put it where it belongs, I think. And then basically Peter listening to the speech like one last time, which is basically, and he's basically like, well, the stuff with my parents is Gwen, I'm gonna, take one last look, but I'm gonna put it where it belongs. I'm not gonna like keep wallowing over it. Like, I'm gonna move on. It's like a really important dialogue, especially paired with the speech from Gwen herself. It's like really great, but whatever.
But it's all just in his head. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's not real. None of this is real.
It's not real.
Emotion from that choice. And then we're facing the evil Russian guy from the beginning again.
I love that he cut the scene that actually informs it. He just happens to do that, sure. And there's like 30 seconds left in this video, so he's definitely not gonna qualify. He's definitely not gonna talk about that scene.
And you remember that, oh yeah, that Oscar plutonium that the Russian guy was stealing in the beginning never led to anything either. And that,
yeah, because the plutonium is in the point. Alexei is the point. The character is the point. It's not the plutonium itself, because the plutonium was recovered. I don't know if you remember that, but Peter he grabbed the robbers and the police were arresting them, and he left the plutonium so that the police could grab it. I guess you just missed what happens in the film again.
Yeah.
That's about where you then have it. The final metaphorical hammer to the nail of realization that you just wasted 2.5 hours.
Oh, okay, yeah, so they just wasted 2.5 hours. As did we, I think. How long have we been going for? 2 hours and 10 minutes. So yeah, we basically wasted 2.5 hours as well. So are you happy, Filmento? Do you like this as well? It's been fun, hasn't it? Such a good video. So what are your guys' thoughts on this video? Is it a masterpiece?
Who wants to go first?
I guess we can go from left to right. CV, Jeb, and Tin, then me.
Okay, so I thought it was fine from a technical standpoint. I thought, like, besides like some of the misrepresentative editing, I thought audio quality and editing and stuff like that, the visuals, I thought it was pretty neat. Argument wise, I definitely do not think it was very accurate to the movie. I do not think it was very faithful to the movie. So yeah, it's definitely a lot of missed context and just false false facts, I would say. So yeah, I didn't like it.
Okay, so for me, honestly, it's been pretty much the usual from two critiques I've seen, where I just feel like people don't catch all the details in the movie, and they kind of go in automatically with this perception of, oh, this movie's going to be bad. And I can get that, especially with the social perception of the film. The reality is, though, as an objectivist or as someone critiquing film, you have to go in impartial and analyse the film for what it is. You can't make facts up, you can't make things up, and you have to go over and again and again. In this video, there was multiple mistakes, incorrect references, and references that contradicted himself, which showed he didn't redraft. And yeah, overall, it's a shit video that is the typical norm for TASM 2 critiques, I find.
Tin?
Oh, wait, sorry. Like Jeb said, it's the typical sort of TASM 2 video where it's basically not completely misrepresenting the film. Like, even if you didn't like it, you would have to actually watch the film and actually see very obvious things there instead of just simply saying, "No, this thing is bad because of this," when it's so blatantly not. Like, this isn't like it's. It's just another shitty TASM video. Like, it doesn't really add anything new or say anything different to you want. It's just another shitty TASM critique.
Yeah, it's like I think I made it pretty clear that I don't like this video while we were watching it, but it's like the amount of references he misses is quite baffling to me. And like the technical aspects of the video, like, sure, they're good. It's like I expect this from most channels by this point. The video essay format, where it's like the very flashy editing, where a lot of stuff being written on screen and all the, you know, and like, nothing against it. You know, I know Thought is watching. I like your videos, but it's just, that's all this video has going for it, because in terms of the writing itself, for the points and the arguments, they're just completely missing what the video did. And yeah, it's a really fucking dumb thing to really fucking dumb way to criticize the film, because, well, he just missed so fucking much. And
a lot of contradictions. Yeah, with his own points.
Which is, like, it's pretty amazing how most TASM 2 videos are like this, where it's just people contradicting themselves and everything. Like, I don't understand why so many of these videos are just contradict themselves so much.
I would say this is maybe better than Nostalgia Critics, maybe.
I mean, it's Nostalgia Critics, should be fair, so.
Yeah. And then Cosmonauts, I would say it's also better than, because he still had some points where he was, you know, not actually saying anything wrong about the film. Because granted, he was just recapping, but still.
Yeah, until he says none of it was real, which is a.
That's like the best part of the video. That's like the best part of the video. But yeah, it's argument wise, it's definitely on the same level as maybe those two. Not very accurate to the film, like Jeb was saying, incorrect references, a lot of misreferences, a lot of just stuff left in that just goes against what he's saying in that specific moment in time. So yeah, safe to say it's a poor critique of TASM 2.
Yeah, Filmento, your critiques are poor.
I don't know if I've seen any other Filmento video, to be honest.
Well, today, while I was getting the link for this video, I saw another one, because I thought it would be interesting to cover on ECUM because of the title. And let's just say it's not a good video, and it's definitely going to be covered on ECUM soon. So I can at least say for these two videos that I have watched, neither of them are good.
Is it the Tenet video?
No, but I actually need to watch that as well. It probably won't be good.
Okay.
Actually, I think I may have watched it, but anyway.
I probably saw like a video from him like years ago, but that's I don't know how accurate that is. This is like the first video I've seen in a long time from him. So yeah.
Yeah. So we've been going for like 2 hours. In theory, we could cover another video if you guys are up for it.
I probably can't.
I've got a really busy day tomorrow with room renovating.
Oh yeah,
so
for you it's like really late, right?
Yeah, so I can't commit to staying up like 2 a.m.
Yeah. Well, then I guess that this is gonna be just a shorter ECUM, but yeah, it's been a ton of fun, and we were a great guest you have on CV. Definitely gonna come on more often if you're up for it.
Oh yeah, I'd be down. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and Stan TASM Chill. It's a great film, and yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys later.
Yes.